works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the world needs now.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, so first up on the docket is addressing rumors from the Marvel side of things. It turns out then that the rumors have been embellished that Black Panther is going to be, recast, according to Nate Moore, the producer, one of the many producers of Black Panther 3, that Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa is going to be recast. Everything you read online is not true. He said in a recent interview that the truth is there's no truth to these rumors. Never say never to anything. We haven't really had a lot of creative conversations with Ryan Coogler yet, because he's finishing his film Sinners, which comes out this year, a couple months, I believe in March. Moore told Comic Book, we'll get into it later this year, but everything you read online is not true, if for no other reason than we just haven't started working on it. So Moore is going to be leaving Marvel Studios soon, but he's still going to be working on Black Panther 3. But I will say this definitely, this definitely fits, because I felt like those reports were definitely embellished. It felt like, I think, the idea of Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa getting recast so soon, when they were vehemently against it just recently with Wakanda Forever, which came out, a couple of years ago at this point. I actually don't remember when that came out. I think that was 2022, right? So that was less than 3 years ago. So it would be weird that they would switch tunes so quickly in the span of 3 years. So, because they were so against it, and now they're like, oh yeah, no, we're definitely recasting with like an alternate version from another world, and he's going to be the new. Don't get me wrong, I like that idea, and I think that's an interesting idea. However, with the context of Marvel being so against the idea of recasting Chadwick Boseman, I felt that this rumor was a bit much. But if it were true, interesting idea, but I just didn't really think it was. I was kind of like on the fence. So yeah, I that's I think I think that makes sense. Regardless, I'm not going to be watching it. I've pretty much given up on Marvel at this point to produce anything good outside of a couple things. Don't get me wrong, I'm watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Going to be watching Fantastic Four, and we'll get to that soon enough. But yeah, I felt that this, made sense, and I think whatever they plan to do, I'm sure a lot of people will like. But it could definitely be, that could be like an interesting idea, like maybe post, like I don't know when Black Panther 3 is set to come out. If I were to take a guess, it's probably going to be after like Secret Wars. And that could have been a good thing, because that's going to be like a heavy multiverse tale. But, to be fair, he did say never to anything. So I assume like they'll keep the option open if they're doing a multiverse kind of thing. But I don't buy it as of right now, because Marvel Studios were like the biggest contenders of like, no, we can't recast him, even though everyone was like, it's okay to recast him. His family was like, yeah, it's okay to recast him, because I don't think Chadwick Boseman would have liked to see this character die with him. So I know what they did in Wakanda Forever was a nice tribute, but whatever they decide to do in the future, I'm sure it'll be an idea that everybody likes. So Black Panther 3, whenever that does come out, for the time being, as of right now, we are not going to be getting Chadwick Boseman Chadwick Boseman's replacement as T'Challa. Because I know Aldous Hodge was like a name that could be good, but yeah, so we're not going to be getting that for the time being. They haven't even worked out a story yet, let alone a script, let alone a casting process. So he's like, we just haven't even done anything now. So that might be it for the future, but we don't have anything right now. So yeah, so that's what we have for that. I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. Man of Steel Magnolia is also high Igor. I gave up on Marvel when Marvel gave up on Hulk. I can kind of see that. But moving on to a little bit more something boring, but Dan really wanted to include the story. Apparently, the rules are no games. CBS slams Sony's ineffective Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune distribution grab. So apparently, Sony was being unprofessional in regards to withholding like Nielsen ratings, as well as saying they were going to be the ones distributing these two game shows when it was CBS in the past. Yes, Sony has the licensing and they produce it, but it seems like they were like, oh, we're going to be taking the distribution rights, and they don't have any skin in the game anymore. But yeah, they said that, you know, like a Tokyo-led media giant would be taking over global distribution of the shows, but CBS stated that we are aware Sony has informed you that it was purported to assume that distribution functions for Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and that it has terminated CBS's distribution arrangement. This communication is false, inappropriate, and ineffective. Sony has no rights under the distribution agreements to terminate them, and CBS remains the distributor for the series, notwithstanding any communications from Sony to the contrary. Any contention by Sony that it has reclaimed the distribution rights is subject to ongoing judicial proceedings, and CBS will be seeking immediate relief from the appropriate courts. All business should continue in the usual course. So, yeah, so Sony was saying they have full control over everything, but that's just simply not the case. CBS had to come in and be like, yeah, this is total bullshit. They don't have anything. They don't have a leg to stand on. They don't have anything to say. So, yeah, I felt that kind of an interesting thing if you care about this sort of thing. See, we lost 3 viewers just from that story alone. So, yeah, Sony being assholes and CBS having to clarify. That's essentially what it is. But yeah, next up, something else I'm not really a huge fan to talk about, but it's newsworthy. Apparently, you know, Beyonce won her first Album of the Year prize, while Kendrick Lamar takes Song and Record of the Year. Chappelle Roan, Best New Artist. So apparently Beyonce winning another award, and, you know, Kendrick Lamar winning more awards. That's cool. I know it was for like a country album, and it was like got memed to hell and all that shit. Kendrick Lamar just being goated as always. But yeah, so that's cool for them. I don't really care about the Grammys because I don't listen to any current music, but it's cool that, you know, Beyonce won something else now, and Kendrick Lamar is still, you know, being goated. The only thing I know is he fucking destroyed Drake, which is cool in my book, because Drake is a fucking piece of shit. So yeah, that's all it's all pretty cool. Not really a ton to say about that, but yeah, they won some awards. That's I think that's pretty pretty cool. Yeah, sorry. I don't really have a ton to say about that, but going from one thing to another, let's get into quick hits, guys. That's always a favorite. Let's get into that bossa nova music right now. It's a little bit. So let's get into quick hits. So first things first, box office. Paddington in Peru nears 100 million overseas, as it has not appeared in America just yet. It's going to be overseas first, then here. But apparently it's already got $100 million overseas. Well, Dogman apparently reached $40 million globally. Now, me and Liz are going to be talking about Dogman as well as Companion tomorrow. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I believe. I think it's tomorrow. So that's going to be exciting because I have a lot to say about the both of them. But it's great to see Paddington 3 / Paddington in Peru doing really well. Really great to see. I hope it absolutely destroys Captain America 4 because fuck that shit. Although, you know, apparently the news of Captain America 4, apparently it's really come to light that a lot of stuff has been wrong in regards to that. So definitely got to take an apology there, but we're going to be talking about that soon enough. But it's nice to see Dogman getting a lot of money because it's definitely one of those movies I think that deserves it for the whole family and not as, you know, one note that a lot of people think it is. And Paddington in Peru, you know, Paddington being goated. I still need to watch the first 2 movies. Hopefully I can get there, but yeah, good stuff. Love to see it. But the next thing we have, apparently a Buffy the Vampire reboot starring Sarah Michelle Gellar nears Hulu pilot order with Chloe Zhao directing. Now, Chloe Zhao famously, you know, won the Oscar for her film Nomadland, and then also directed the most boring Marvel movie in the past few years with Eternals. So whether this is good or bad, it depends on who's asking. I have not watched any of Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Angel or any of, you know, I haven't read any of the comics. I haven't watched a movie, you know, so I know it's a beloved sort of thing, but I've never seen it. But hopefully it's good for all the and you know, looks like Figure Drawing has joined the chat. Paddington movies are fire, highly recommend. Don't worry, I will get to them soon enough. Man of Steel agrees. Paddington rules. And Figure Drawing saying something quite interesting in regards to Chloe Zhao, which I'm gonna share right here because it's definitely an interesting take. Zhao is to blame for Eternals. They let her cook and she burned the food into charcoal. Now, I have not watched Eternals. I just know from a lot of the people I know, as well as the discourse, is that it's an extremely boring movie and they tried to do some artsy-fartsy bullshit with it and it absolutely failed miserably. So, yeah, the only thing that came from that is the upcoming, you know, plot of Captain America 4, which is apparently America wants to get adamantium from the giant fucking eternal robot in the middle of the, you know, Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean, and they want to do that so they can introduce, you know, X-Men, Wolverine, and all that shit. So yeah, kind of a bullshit thing, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, if any of you are, you know, Buffy fans, I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on this because I don't have a leg in the game, unfortunately. Could be really good, could be really awful. But yeah, I'm sure, you know, if it's good, then people will like it. If it's not, then people will complain. I'm sure people are already complaining, like, oh, it doesn't need a reboot. But it'll probably get canceled after like 2 seasons, like most of these fucking shitty, like the Frasier reboot and all that shit. So yeah, I don't have a leg in the game. Sorry guys, but maybe you guys can let me know. But yeah, next up with speaking of reboots, we have Matthew Lillard returning as Stu Macher in Scream 5. I think this is the absolute dumbest fucking thing ever, unless it's just going to be kind of what Skeet Ulrich was in Scream 5, that it's just like a hallucination or a flashback. That can work. If they make him, oh, he wasn't dead, then it's like, Jesus fuck. Like this franchise died with Wes Craven. It did. Scream 5 was fucking horrible. And even though I heard Scream 6 was a little bit better, this franchise is deader than dead. Like, it's deader than Stu Macher. That's what it is. Don't get me wrong, I love Matthew Lillard. Who doesn't love Matthew Lillard? It's like one of the best Shaggies next to Casey Kasem, and just proves to be an extremely wonderful and wholesome human being. But this is just ridiculous, and I think it just shows the absolute fucking desperation when it comes to this franchise, and it lost the plot like 3 movies ago. So but he did have a funny reaction to the news where the famous ad-libbed line towards the end of the first film, "My mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me." Like, definitely one of the best parts of that movie. But yeah, funny, but just ridiculous. But speaking of horror franchises, apparently the Final Destination Bloodlines trailer got released today. So I don't really care about Final Destination all that much. It looks like it looks like it's sticking true to the plot, and the only thing noteworthy about this movie is the fact that it is going to be Tony Todd's final film, which is like, for all the Tony Todd fans, that's nice. I love Tony Todd, but I'm not going to be watching this. I haven't seen a single Final Destination movie. I don't care about this franchise. So yeah, I kind of just don't really care, but if you're into it, cool. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. We love you, but I'm just gonna go rewatch Candyman, and I mean the original Candyman, not the 2021 Candyman. So yeah, yeah, but yeah. So figure drawings say 100% he's not dead in the new Scream, even though he was legit killed before. Yeah, bro got electrocuted by a 90s TV. Like a 90s DC, that'll fucking kill anybody. But no, he's gonna have like scars on his face. It's gonna look like Jigsaw or something like that, like the Punisher villain, not the Saw villain. But yeah, I don't think teaser trailers are lame. The concept, I don't think teaser trailers are lame. I think teasers to teasers are lame, and we'll get into that later on. But yeah, Final Destination Bloodlines, I don't really care. It's just like, rest in peace, Tony Todd. I love Tony Todd, but again, I'm just gonna rewatch one of his better movies. So yeah, in honor of him. So yeah, moving on. Next up, we have apparently a new Tom Hardy movie is coming out in spring on Netflix. It's gonna be a fast-paced action thriller where he plays a cop. It's gonna be directed by Gareth Evans, director of The Raid. Runtime is hour 45 minutes. It could be really good. Gareth Evans is a great director. I've seen The Raid 2. I've not seen the first Raid because my friend preferred the second Raid, so she showed me that one instead. And so I was like, all right. And then I never watched the first one, but I've heard like that's great too. But this could be really fun, but it's also Netflix, and they come out with the most, like mediocre action drivel, like any of the Russo movies and anything like that. So yeah. Man of Steel Magnolia is saying The Raid was fun. Final Destination, aka Dumb Ways to Die. Yeah, pretty much. But even then, it's so like over the top and silly that I just can't get into it. But yeah, although apparently it's all you going from one Batman actor to a fan cast Batman actor. Apparently Brandon Sklenar, which many of you want as Batman in the DCU, apparently is on the short list to portray Nova in the MCU. However, it is coming from Jeff Snyder, the infamous Jeff Snyder, who appears to be getting everything fucking wrong because the bro tried to destroy Captain America 4 before it came out. So I don't know if this is probably bullshit. Like, it's probably total bullshit. I honestly, with how wrong Jeff Snyder got Captain America 4, I don't think I can trust anything he says anymore because he just ruthlessly fucked up everything in regards to that. So, yeah, I don't trust anything he says, so this is probably bullshit. So, to all you fans who want, Brandon Sklenar for DCU Batman, I think that's more likely than this horseshit. Figure drawing agreeing. he totally makes a lot of shit up and blames bad news sources. So yeah, I agree. I'm just gonna say that every time because I was watching a video. I forget who. I know. I Do Know Nothing did a video on it, and then he did like a short video on it, but he's credited an actual source, unlike Jeff Snyder. I forget who it was though. I'll try to get that for you guys, so we could talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, I don't believe this at all. And Brandon Sklenar, I don't know much about him, so unfortunately, I don't have skin in the game. I don't think. I just don't think. I just don't think this has any truth to it. So we're moving on. But yeah, Nate Moore continued. This was from the other interview. He was talking about Chadwick Boseman, but he was talking about Captain America: Brave New World, how it ties into Avengers: Doomsday. It's no secret. We're starting to build to Avengers 5. And I think there's never been an Avengers movie where there's not a Captain America at the center of it. So this is about Sam Wilson showing the world that he is deserving of the mantle and why he's both Captain America and not Steve Rogers. And I think he's going to take the skills from this film. Isn't this like what the entirety of Brave New World is about? Why he's like, the whole thing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier was showing like how he was not like deserving of the mantle, but then it like at the beginning, and then that's what like these last two things were about. Falcon and the Winter Soldier proved he was deserving of the mantle. Now this movie is proving that he's deserving of the mantle, and Avengers Doomsday is going to be about how he's deserving of the mantle. Why are you continuing the same beats over and over and over again? This is as boring as like Batman realizing he has to be Hope for Gotham. They've used the same plot in the last 4 Batman projects. We're using the same Captain America plot in the last 3 appearances that he's been in. Why not why not have him just fit in the mantle of Captain America? I know, crazy. I understand that they have to go extra hard. It's now a black guy playing Captain America, so they have to go like super hard, like this guy's. But the fact that you're forcing it so much makes this even more eye-rolling than it should be. If you're repeating the same plot points over and over and over again. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that he's black. It's just like, just stop repeating the same thing over and over again. Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America: Brave New World are about him, how he's deserving of the mantle of Captain America. Why are we getting that again for an Avengers movie? It's not about Captain America. It's about the combination of every Avenger. Yes, Captain America does have a subplot in there, but it's not just about him. It's about the stakes, and it's about the whole team. So maybe they could like tweak it like how he's deserving of to be the leader of the Avengers. Maybe if that's the case, I could maybe see them rolling with that. But it feels like they're just repeating the same beats over and over and over again. It's just like, stop doing that. It's not, interesting at all. Like when you're repeating it over and over. So yeah. So, I mean, figure drawing, all I'm saying is that I think it's cool when a black dude is on stage. I'm biased. Comic book movies are hella white. Also, where the Asians at? They were all in Shang-Chi. And that's it. That's all they get. So, oopsie daisies. But yeah, I just don't get the reason for, like, repeating this shit over and over again. Just come up with something new. But it is Marvel, and like to, wish, wash, and repeat. Yeah, and and figure out how he can be helpful as the Avengers fight a new threat. Yeah, I mean, like, it's fine, I guess, but it's just like, I don't know. But then the final thing in terms of, Marvel stuff is we're going to be getting the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer tomorrow morning. So for us on the East Coast, we are going to be getting it at 7. For everybody on the West Coast, they're going to be getting it at 4 a.m. So if you want to stay up late, then by all means. But yeah, the reason this is in quick hits and not in main news is because there's little to talk about. I mean, yes, we have this, small teaser to the teaser, bigger drawing calling you out, where it shows a bit of the tone, a little bit of the vibe, where we see that it's going to be like retro futurism that they've promised. It looks very 60s. It looks like it's going to be, they're astronauts on like maybe an Apollo-esque mission, and that's how they get their powers and all that. So that's definitely an interesting thing. And I will say I agree with Sergio right here, for Galactus' sake. Cut it with the laughter and focus instead. Yeah, the laughter is like the typical canned child laughter you get from like a basic editing plugin. So it's like, guys, come on, at least spend a little bit of money on like Foley sound or something like that. Like, guys, that was a bit ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Ron, thank you. The actual trailer is going to be the main news. That's why this is just a quick hit for now. Because, we're just going to be just like, hey, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. We're going to have Liz on, the big Marvel nerd. So she's always the one, we got to wait for a trailer. So we're finally getting a trailer, Liz. I know you're not watching this, but I'm just saying, yeah, we're going to be getting a trailer. And that's going to be pretty awesome, I think. But unfortunately, guys, that's it for quick hits. Now we're moving on to DC stuff. And now, obviously, you can tell from the thumbnail what we're going to be talking about that, but we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. So we're going to do some other DCU news first, and then we're going to be getting into the thumbnail worthy news. So stay tuned for that. But first things first, we gotta bounce up the best modern Superman we got. Maybe until David Corenswet comes in and swoops in and makes it even better. But apparently, Superman and Lois received the Dan Curtis Legacy Award in recognition of its outstanding contribution to superhero storytelling at the Saturn Awards. So I gotta say, this is really awesome. I think this is great. Like, it's so nice to see. It's so nice to see this getting a lot of I know it's only the Saturn Awards. It's not something big like the Golden Globes or the Emmys. It's the Saturn Awards. But you know what? Take recognition where you can get it, and I love to see it. And this show, thank you, Jose. Standing ovation. We're definitely keeping that. But yeah, I think I just love, Superman and Lois so much. It's definitely deserving of all the praise it gets. Yes, season 4 was a little rushed, but I still think it was a great ending to the series. It ended near perfectly. We got a lot of really, really great stuff here, and Betsy Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin did a really great job. And yeah, so I think that's great to see. Also, the whole shebang, by the way, was the user that broke down how wrong all of the reports were for Captain America Brave New World. So yeah, so apparently I was wrong. We were all wrong because Jeff Snyder is a fucking idiot. But that's neither here nor there. Now we're talking about DCU news, DC news specifically. So yeah, I think we're just gonna stick with that from now on. But yeah, Jose and Man of Steel agreeing with me. Well, I hope Man of Steel would agree that it was a great show. It's in your name, sir, or ma'am. But yeah, moving on to the next thing. Speaking of, our boy Tyler Hoechlin. Tyler Hoechlin had a little bit to say about Superman. He says, I've always been excited about whenever that day comes to pass the baton. I think they're great. I'm a huge, huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. Yeah, you and everybody else. So I can't wait to see what James has done with it. Very just vague, very, regal, classy kind of, vibes from Tyler Hoechlin. Yeah, Dan saying, I'm standing. I'm ovating. Are you ovulating? What are you saying, Dan? That's a weird thing to say. So yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Ron. You asked a question. Let me get your question on the screen here. A little bit late, but don't worry. We like to answer your guys' questions. So Ron was saying, do you think Fantastic Four has no shot being better than Superman? I think there's more writing on Fantastic Four than Superman, I think, because and that's saying a lot because there's a lot riding on Superman, but I feel like Superman, they've gotten a lot of people. They've gotten a lot of people. I think a lot of people are excited about it. Superman is definitely more of a noteworthy, name and figure and recognizable than Fantastic Four is. So I think you're gonna get a lot of people, even if the movie's bad, like you're still gonna get. I still think they're gonna get a good amount of money, and I think they're still I mean, we're gonna be getting future movies. Like by the time Superman comes out, Supergirl and Lanterns are gonna be done filming. So yeah, like I think, even if Superman does poorly, which I don't think it will, we're still going to be getting DCU stuff, maybe just Lanterns and Supergirl, but I think there is a lot riding on Superman, but just not as much as people think it is because the Snyder contingent are like so small and minuscule, so I don't think they matter. Um, with Fantastic Four, we've gotten, if you count the Roger Corman version and the sequel, we've gotten 4 Fantastic Four movies. All of them failed. I mean, the Roger Corman one was never even released. It was a bootleg that was sold at conventions for years until it finally made its way onto like YouTube. I watch it. It's not half bad, but it's not good either. Then you have the Tim Story movies, which outside of nostalgia, not a lot of people like. I mean, sure, they're fun. They got Chris Evans being great and all that stuff, but they're not great movies. And I feel like they are missing what makes Fantastic Four good. And then you have, infamously, you have Fanforstic, which had so much studio meddling, which was way even before filming. It was like essentially DOA when they were writing the damn thing. So, there's a lot more writing on Fantastic Four because it's like if they fail this, if Fantastic Four First Steps sucks, we will never get another Fantastic Four adaptation for like again. I don't think we're going to. So, I don't think that is the case. So, I really don't think that's the case because it just like there's way too much writing on Fantastic Four. Now, I don't think they have no shot being better, but it's unlikely that it'll be better than Superman because I feel like James Gunn put a lot of time and effort into this, and unfortunately with Marvel they treated it like every other assembly line movie. Yes, you have America's sweetheart Pedro Pascal. Yes, you have a beloved actor who's being in a lot of stuff lately with Joseph Quinn, and Vanessa Kirby, who's been, in a lot of great projects in the past, like The Crown and the Mission Impossible movies. So, and Abin Moss Backrack is also there. And you have like a big villain like Galactus and the Silver Surfer being the main villains. So, there is a lot more writing on Fantastic Four in terms of no shot. I think it's pretty much close to no shot. They just treated it as another assembly line Marvel movie. They got a nobody named TV director to direct the damn thing. So yeah, it's very unlikely it'll be better, but if it is, I'll eat my words because I am going to be seeing it. I'm curious. I just don't trust Marvel at this point. I don't trust Disney. So, bit of a long-winded answer. I apologize. Also, hello, Enterprising. Yeah. So, so a lot of people. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of stuff, guys. This talking about Superman and all that. So Caleb Honka Honka, hello. In the new movie, yes, we're talking about Superman. Get your finger out of your noses and hit that like button. Thank you, Man of Steel. We appreciate that very much. Got to add that to the long list of stuff to add. Boom. Hit those likes, guys. Hit those likes. So Enterprising, very happy about Green Arrow. Jose is saying the Fantastic Four teaser for the teaser gave good vibes. Kids excited for Fantastic Four gave Superman vibes. I agree. Figure drawing saying Fantastic Four will make more money than Superman. Superman will make about 750 million, but you're right. More riding on Fantastic Four. Superman mainly just needs to be good. Thank you, Ron. John saying it's okay, John. That was a good answer. So a little bit long-winded, but I appreciate that. Also, hello, Antonio. Superman will be iconic, says Dan. So yeah, I don't think Fantastic Four is going to make more money. I don't think so, because it's like, oh, we're getting another Fantastic Four reboot when we just got one, and I feel like it's part of the Marvel machine now, which according to some more general audiences isn't great. So obviously we'll see. I just don't think it'll make more money. But figure drawing, I am putting you down for our little raffle. I don't know if we did put you down, but I'm gonna write you down anyway. We have a little thing going on with all you guys about how much money do you think Superman will make. So you're at the 750 slot. Now, I think I forget what my number was, but I think it'll be more on the 800 side, but obviously we'll see. We'll be a little bit closer to 800. I think Fantastic Four is going to make me maybe 500 to 600, depending on what the budget is. That could be something really good, could be not, but obviously we'll see. But yeah. Moving on, kind of going back to Fantastic Four a lot, but that's okay. So Tyler Hoechlin gives his seal of approval to James Gunn Superman. That's great. Damn it. So, we'll see. Obviously, we'll see. I don't care about that. Anyway, so Bad Boys 4 directors, Adil and Balil on the set of the canceled Batgirl movie. So delivering, and then Michael Keaton delivering, so that's kind of fun. So we got Michael Keaton saying, "I'm Batman yet again" in a movie that will never see the light of day. That's cool, I guess. I don't really care. I don't really like Michael Keaton as Batman. There, I said it. Anyway, next up, we have Nathan Fillion talking about Superman. He was describing that Superman on set. Now, this was confirmed by James Gunn some months ago, I think sometime last year, where John Murphy made songs as part of the score way before filming. And James Gunn tends to use those tends to use that score when he's filming something. I don't know if he did it for other films, but Nathan Fillion confirmed it that they did it for Superman. So that's really cool. Caleb, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, Jose was saying the DC brand was already in the toilet before Batgirl. If executives saw it and said it sucked, they saved the brand from more humiliation. Yeah, but they decided to release The Flash. I can't imagine anything is that much fucking worse. At most, it's just kind of stupid. But I can't. You at least had Brendan Fraser as the villain with Firefly. You could have gotten something with that. And I'm sure, was it Javicia Leslie? I'm sure she would have been fine. And you had Michael Keaton. So, all right. You're saying that The Flash, the movie that lost you $1 billion, was better than the podunk Batgirl movie by the guys who made not one, but two successful Bad Boys movies. All right. Yeah. Okay. Sure. But yeah, so Nathan Fillion revealing that, that John Murphy accompanied the actors and the crew on the set. So, and he gave a seal of approval towards the music that was in the trailer. And this particular piece that we just released today, a little bit of music it literally gives me chills, Nathan Fillion, even though he's known for being a dickhead, apparently, he apparently gives a seal of approval. So that's really great to see. Nathan Fillion, speaking of Nathan Fillion, apparently he's expecting to reprise his role as Guy Gardner for Lanterns. So I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts about this, because I don't know if I believe this, but apparently this is coming from Variety. Maybe this was part of one of the other, one of the other millions of links that Dan likes to give. But yeah, this is definitely really cool. If he is actually gonna, because I feel like it makes sense. I know Dan's theory is that Guy Gardner is gonna be the one who fucking dies in the beginning of the show, and that's why they have to investigate his murder. But he was great as TDK, lol, the little screen time he had. But yeah, also guys, like the video. But yeah, Nathan Fillion appearing, I think he's gonna have like a smaller role much later on. I don't think he's the one that dies, because look, Tom King might be a fucking idiot, but he's not that fucking stupid. Like, to kill off Guy Gardner, like one of the below, even though he's not like Hal or John, it would be absolutely fucking stupid to fucking kill him off in the first episode, and that's the reason why they have to investigate. That's just so, like, Tom King's an idiot, but he's not that stupid. He may be an idiot, but he's not stupid. So I don't think that's the case. It would just be, I think if this is true, again, take your grain of salt out, your big old salt lick of your grain of salt. I don't think I don't think it's gonna be a big role. I think it's just gonna be like a cameo, like maybe he'll appear in a couple episodes as a guest appearance, but it's mainly gonna follow John and Hal. But I'm very curious to see like what his role is. Like, does John know who he is? Does Hal know who he is? Is he like the other Green Lantern that like nobody knows about? He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm here, because he has the lantern ring. We saw him use it. So like, is that true? Is that not true? So like, we'll see. But I hope he makes an appearance. It makes sense. If you have our first established Green Lantern is Guy Gardner, and I feel like not having him in the show, even in a small capacity, would be a waste. But yeah, Caleb, Tom King kills fun the show. Although, I'm sorry, figure drawing. Apparently, you had a hot take you were wanting to, talk about. So unfortunately, it's a little bit too long, but it's, hot take. Presently, Superman is a niche character. I mean, Superman comics are low tier in terms of popularity, and WB did Supes no favors. Too long, didn't read, no shot it makes anything near $1 billion. Well, we're not talking about $1 billion. We're not talking about $1 billion. It's definitely not, Superman's definitely not going to make $1 billion. If it does, I'll be shocked, but I'll be happy. But I don't think, but that's not what Ron was asking. He was like, in terms of like quality wise, in terms of like, like he was saying being better as in quality wise, not money wise. Now, I personally don't think it's going to make more money, but I don't think Superman's a niche character. Look, because it's like you had Superman and Lois, you had like My Adventures with Superman. Like, Superman is going through a resurgence right now, and I don't think that it's totally weird that like, that he's going to be popular. I don't think that's the case here. I think No, figure drawing. I know you're rooting for Gunn. I'm not saying you aren't. I'm just saying I don't like that's an interesting take to have, and I'm not shitting on it or anything. I just don't think that I don't think niche, maybe less popular than what he was before. I think Man of Steel kind of helped in that, unfortunately. Superman Returns was kind of that I think the 2000s did not do Superman any favors because I feel like not the 90s was the last time like Superman was super because you had Death of Superman, you had Superman the animated series, and you had Lois and Clark. And yes, Smallville did help, and that was like the big thing of the 2000s. But that was like before Superman. It wasn't like iconic because he wasn't Superman yet. He was just Clark Kent. So, I think the 2000s was kind of like the slow downturn because yes, well, he did show up in Justice League the show, Justice League Unlimited, and he had Smallville, and he had Superman Returns. I think the 2000s were kind of a slow downturn. I think 2010s and Man of Steel really helped in killing Superman. And then now with the 2020s, I think we're kind of slowly building Superman back up into the heroes. Now, I don't know if he's ever going to be as popular as he was like in the 90s and early 2000s, but I think that we are going to be, getting a resurgence. I think we're getting a resurgence. I think, like Superman and Lois was beloved. To My Adventure Superman is really beloved right now. So I don't think it's totally yeah. And it also doesn't help because they're saying Zack Snyder has skewed the character of Superman. Now everyone wants a dark Superman to destroy the world. That's not who he is. Injustice was the start of that, I think, and then like Man of Steel and the Snyderverse definitely was like nail in the coffin for a while for Superman as a character, at least a hopeful character. But now we're, finally getting that uptick in regards to him as that character. Hello, Manos. Nice to see you. Also, hi, Watcher. I didn't say hi to you before. I apologize. So Figure Drawing is saying the way I see Superman is the final boss, except he's a good guy. For Gunn to start with a Superman movie, that takes balls. Anyway, I agree. He may indeed become way more popular after this movie. So yeah, I think personally, I think that's going to be the case. But in terms of, Superman, well, we're not going to be talking about Superman for the rest of the time, but we're going to be talking about another blue superhero. And apparently, Joel Dueña was being asked, and he about his apparently Blue Beetle animated series, which I don't think was ever confirmed by James Gunn. The only thing we know is that Joel Dueña is coming back as Blue Beetle, but there was a report that we're gonna get an animated show, and he was saying he shares his hopes that the DCU's animated Blue Beetle show will release next year in 2026. I don't think that will be the case because we're going to be getting lanterns, and I still think we're kind of at a rickety place in like unless well, here's the thing. What I think we're going to be getting in 2026, it's kind of a rough place because we don't know because Superman hasn't come out yet. So we don't know if the DCU is going to be DOA, it's going to be a slow death, it's going to be all that shit. So I think personally, I don't think we're going to like yes, he hopes that it will be released in 2026. I don't think we're going to get that until 2027, maybe 2028 because look at the projects lined up for 2026 is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Lanterns, and Clayface. So we're going to be getting one of everything. And in terms of animation, it's most likely we're going to be getting Creature Commandos in 2026. Now, it's possible we'll get it sometime in 2025. Unlikely, though, because I think we're just going to be getting Peacemaker Season 2 and Superman because they don't want to do too much before this DCU really starts. So it's most likely we're going to be getting creature. So that's one of everything for 2026. We're going to be getting a mainline DCU movie. We're going to be getting a mainline DCU show. We're going to be getting an Elseworld story, and we're going to get an animated show. Well, a continuation of an animated show. So it's very unlikely that Blue Beetle would come out in 2026. Probably going to come out in 2027 or 2028. But I do hope we're going to be getting it soon, because I thought Joel Maridueña, he was definitely better than the movie, I think, because I feel like he was born to play Jaime Reyes. But the movie was fine, a little generic, but it was fine. But he was exceptional, I will say that. Yeah. Yes, and I agree, Ron. Blue Beetle, I'm certain, will make a cameo in the Booster Gold show. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. We're either going to be getting like a Blue Beetle cameo and Ted Kord as the main Blue Beetle, or it could be a good thing for the Booster Gold show. Like, Booster Gold is established in the DCU, and like Ted Kord has been missing for so long, but they, with the Blue Beetle movie, we got like that thing like, oh, he's alive. So maybe the Booster Gold show is about Booster Gold finding out that his friend is still alive, and he enlists Jaime Reyes to go and find him, and that's what Booster Gold is about. Or the Blue Beetle show, the animated show, is going to be about finding Ted Kord. I think one of those two things, that's what each show is going to... I think one of those shows is going to be about finding Ted Kord, and the other show is going to be a spiritual successor to that. I think whatever show does it first, whether it's Blue Beetle or Booster Gold, and then the other show is going to be a follow-up to that with Ted Kord being found, and then maybe there's like a legacy mentor type of thing of like, oh, now we have to deal with two Blue Beetles. So whatever that's my theory. That's John's official theory time, is Booster Gold or Blue Beetle is going to be about Jaime Reyes trying to find Ted Kord, either with or without Booster Gold. And then the other show is going to be about Blue Beetle, both Blue Beetles being in the same universe, being in the same, like, city, and them, like, working out, like, either a mentor thing, some friction, whatever. I don't think it's going to be friction, but whatever they decide to do, I think that's what it's going to be about. So that's my theory. I think one of these two shows is going to be about finding Ted Kord after, since Blue Beetle, the movie, is kind of canon now, and Ted Kord was like, hey, I'm alive on the computer screen. So that's what I think they're going to do. Yeah. But everyone is talking about Green Lantern or Superman right now. But yeah, that's it for regular old DC news. Now we're moving on to Green Arrow, because apparently we got something big in regards to Green Arrow. So this is something I'm pretty, curious about, because I saw this and I'm like, Dan, what the fuck is up with this? And he's like, we'll talk about it. And so we got this little bit right here. Rumor is that DC Studios is reportedly eyeing Harry Goodwins for the role of Green Arrow in the DCU. Adding fuel to the speculation, Harry shared on an Instagram story mentioning James Gunn and DC's official account, writing, 2025, I have big motions. It's happening, alongside a Green Lantern photo. So this is interesting, and I'm curious to know your thoughts, because here's what I think in regards to this. I think what he's talking about in terms of it's happening is that his campaigning for the role is happening. I don't think, because in terms of like, the most we get is like a cameo in Lanterns, because he's closely associated with Hal Jordan. And I mean, they could pull a Green Lantern Beware My Power, where he becomes friendly with John instead of Hal Jordan. But even then, even in that movie, he was friends with Hal. So, considering Harry Goodwins is... Oh, he doesn't even have a birthday. Okay. Well, apparently Harry Goodwins is like... he was in the Gentleman TV series. So that's something, I guess. I have no fucking clue who this dude is. But I feel like what he's talking about in terms of it's happening is his campaign for the role is happening. The only thing I could see Green Arrow in is Lanterns. I know somebody teased that, he's gonna be, he's gonna make a debut in Peacemaker season 2. And that's what the tease was, with the guy by the fire, and you can only see his back. But like, I don't see that being the same character at all, because it looked like that was like an old, like he had gray hair in the picture, and on top of the fact, it looked like a Native American guy. So I seriously doubt that was Green Arrow, but it's allegedly because they made but with Ron is saying I can see Green Arrow making a cameo appearance in Brave and the Bold. But the thing is, Brave and the Bold is not happening right now in terms of the stuff that's happening, because he's saying like, oh, it's happening, like his campaign for the role. But like, some people are saying, oh, it's already confirmed that he's 100% playing this character. So I'm not sure. I really don't know, because I mean, he looks the part. I mean, he very much looks the part. He looks like Green Arrow straight off the page, like the mustache, the chiseled jawline, the hair, like everything in regards to this dude is like screams, Green Arrow. So, personally, I think what he means is that it's happening in terms of campaigning for the role. That he's gonna start really campaigning for whatever future project. I don't think he's gonna make a cameo appearance in Peacemaker season 2. The only thing we have in regards to that, like, oh, he's gonna be in Peacemaker season 2, is the fact that he made a joke in season 1, which is barely canon anymore. Like, oh, he goes to brony conventions, which I would totally believe, but I don't think that's... I know it's supposed to be a joke. Before you guys get on me, I know it's like Peacemaker being an idiot, believing everything on the internet. I know it's a joke, by the way. That's the only thing I see. Or I could see him being in Lanterns. I could see him in Brave and the Bold, because like him and Batman are kind of similar, but he's more of a jokey hero, not what they did in fucking Arrow, which made him Batman light. But he's like another rich guy, fights for justice. Like, he kind of similar in that vein. But that movie is already going to be filled to the brim with the Bat family. I can't imagine that they're going to shove Green Arrow in there too. So, yeah, Caleb, Stephen Amell didn't believe it was a joke because he's fucking stupid. Okay. So the Watcher has something. Well, the Watcher says Green Arrow could very likely be in Pacemaker. I don't believe it. Remember, John, it's been rumored that Waller's gonna form Checkmate, and Ollie is a part of Checkmate. I don't think they're gonna introduce Green Arrow as part of Checkmate. I feel like that kind of goes against like the modern interpretation of the character, but I mean, that's entirely possible. Sasha Bordeaux has already been cast in Peacemaker, and she leads Checkmate, so there's a connection there. I mean, I would love to see Green Arrow. It makes sense, John, that Ollie's in Peacemaker. Gunn not going modern with Green Arrow. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think we're gonna be... I just think that what we have now is very little. This is all hearsay. This is all bullshit. So I don't think we're going to be getting Green Arrow in any recent project in the next couple of years. However, if we are, I'll be stoked, and I'm sure that this dude is a good actor. Like, I haven't seen him in anything, so I can't just. I'm just saying he looks like the character. Charlie Hunnam looked like the character, and he was fantastic. And I think he would have been a horrible Green Arrow. So, and ironically, he was also in The Gentleman, the movie, not the show. So, I don't know. Personally, I don't think Harry Goodwins has been cast. I don't think we're going to be getting Green Arrow in anything soon. But if we are, then I will eat my words. And yeah, that's just my personal opinion. I just don't think we're going to be getting anything with Green Arrow anytime soon. But I do hope that we get something at some point, because I would love to see Green Arrow done properly. In the DCU, after fucking Arrow fucking made him Green Batman, and I don't think that's the character. Hi Nelson. Enterprising saying yes, give me that queen. But yeah, I don't think that he's saying anything in regards other than he's campaigning for the role. I don't think we're going to be getting anything in regards to Green Arrow. I'm just saying it just like, why is it coming from him? Considering James Gunn is pretty ironclad with information, with what he wants revealed and what he doesn't, I can't imagine that he's, doing anything. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I am gonna address some fan comments here. Charlie Hunnam is great. He's a great actor. I don't think he would be a good Green Arrow. But Hosea, you also asked something else. John, sir, thank you for calling me sir. Call me that from now on. I'm Sir John now. Do you think we'll get white-eyed masks in the DCU? It worked in BVS and Deadpool and Wolverine. Where was it in BVS? Will we get it with Green Arrow and Green Lantern? I wouldn't mind Green Arrow or Green Lantern, because here's the thing with Green Arrow, most of his face is there. Same with Green Lantern. I just don't think it'll work for Batman. Batman takes a lot of like body language, and the thing is, most of his face is covered. So I feel like getting rid of the eyes, which is like the most expressive, would be a deterrent for Batman specifically. Now, I'm not saying it can't, like, the reason that it works for Deadpool is because he's the merc with a mouth. It's his mouth. He doesn't have to be expressive with his face. It's just, the whole thing is, his character is just, he constantly makes jokes. With Wolverine, it worked for like 2 seconds. Like, it was in the like one fight scene, and like that was it wasn't 2 seconds, but it was like 10-15 minutes. It wasn't like the whole movie. But even then, most of his face was shown. I just personally don't think it would work for Batman. I personally think Batman needs to have his eyes. However, for Green Arrow and Green Lantern, I think white eyes is fine. I think that's totally chill. But Green Arrow, Green Lantern team-up show would be dope. That would be awesome. I think that would be really awesome. But in terms of enterprising, you asked a question a while ago. You said, do you think they will have Black Beetle in the show or wait for another potential movie? Black Beetle is kind of similar to the villain they had in Blue Beetle, so I don't think they're going to do that. But he would be a cool villain to show, because I think he crosses paths with Booster Gold too. But yeah, I think that was a good question. What did Enterprise? But yeah, Patrick Childs was agreeing with Enterprising. I hope so. Seeing other colored Beetles, very poor choice of words, in Young Justice was really awesome, and Black Beetle was a badass. Superman suit had white eyes in the Batman fight. Yeah, that was one fight because it was part of his like robot suit. So like, yeah, I guess that works. My theory is Gunn will give us a Black Canary Green Arrow film that's a romantic action comedy. Yes, inject it into my veins right now, because that's what I'm talking about. That's the type of shit I think James Gunn would give us. It would be like that's the type. That's what I wanted to see with Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we did not get that. Like, give us Green Arrow and Black Canary, make it a fucking not a romantic comedy, but like a comedy action film with like also like romantic aspects here and there. Like that would be fucking awesome. That because that would show like I feel like James Gunn would be very into that because again, look at the lineup. We have Swamp Thing, that's a horror movie. Supergirl, cosmic western. Brave and the Bold, a family action film. So, you know,
I don't have friends. I got family.
So, you know, that's going to be a family-driven action film. And then The Authority is going to be a bonkers R-rated, like, anti-hero, like, 80s action film. And then Superman is going to be, like, a hopeful sci-fi film. So we're going to be getting a lot of different stuff. And then Teen Titans is like, we don't know if we're getting that anytime soon. So, you know, Queen is also pretty socialist. I wonder if they'll tone that down or embrace that part. I think they would embrace it. Like most things in Hollywood are pretty liberal, so I feel like they would definitely embrace that. But yeah, I think whatever we do get in regards to Green Arrow as a character, I don't think so. Every masked hero should have white eyes. No, it doesn't work for live action for the most part. Like maybe it works in like a scene, like an action set piece, maybe here and there. The only reason it works with Deadpool is because one, Ryan Reynolds is gonna fucking murder people if they don't get Deadpool 100% right, and two, he's the mark with a mouth. He doesn't need he doesn't need to express his face. He just needs to never shut the fuck up. That's the whole point. So I don't think that's the case. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Ray J adding into the Watchers theory. That could be good. Yeah, I think Marvel with Fantastic Four could definitely get more views. But TC24, hey, unless the trailer is amazing, I doubt it. I mean, I could see it being a good trailer, but obviously we'll have to see. But yeah, thank you guys for all your comments. This is great. So, Hosea, I'm gonna add that into the docket of great comments. So apparently Dan is never showed up. He's just showing up in the comments like a lazy bastard saying, "Oh, my dog is on top of me. I can't join now." Fucking lazy writing. Well, that's what I call lazy writing. Anyway, but yeah, we're kind of winding down here a little bit. Definitely winding down. Unfortunately, we don't have enough comments for Q&A. I was answering as we go along, but we're kind of, you know, so it all depends on the trailer to see if it has more views than Superman. Yeah. Y'all really like me. Anyway, unless his dog is crypto, we don't want to hear that BS. Ouch. Oh, Dan, do you hear? They're shit talking Zelda. Hosea, Lieutenant Dan Ice Cream. Now we're kind of losing part of the plot. So thank you guys for watching. See, with just me, you get it in under like a little bit over an hour instead of the 4-hour runs that Dan likes to do. So thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like. Y'all have we got 28 viewers, 19 likes. Let's bump it up to a nice even 20. There we go. Let's do that. But like and comment and subscribe. I know we kind of have weird times, but you know how it is. We got schedules and shit. But we're gonna, but make sure to subscribe because we're gonna talk about the Fantastic Four trailer tomorrow. We're gonna have Liz with us, who's gonna also talk about it, and we're gonna be, talking about movies and shit. We're gonna be talking about Companion and Dogman either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm pretty sure tomorrow. But even if she's not here, we're gonna be definitely talking about the Fantastic Four trailer tomorrow. So make sure to subscribe so you see that. Make sure to fucking click that goddamn bell so you know. Oh, there he is. So you just had to prove me wrong.
Yeah, would you just shit talking me on the show? Come on now.
Make sure to click the bell, guys. But
Yeah.
hey, you know what? You were the one that said, "Oh, I'll join you," and then you fucking booted me over a dog. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you have to say to that, Dan?
I don't know. I kind of missed the last 30 seconds. Okay, now I'm on. That's great. No, I mean I'm looking forward to the trailer tomorrow morning, Fantastic Four, and it's gonna be nice. Let's see. Then it's gonna be Superman's turn. Sort of like, now it's your turn, now it's your turn. So
Hi, Lenny. Yes, unfortunately you missed the show, but you're getting Dan's beautiful face now, so you did get that. So feel free to be kind and rewind. So there he is. We got the beard stroking. Hang on, let me just get the appropriate music. I think it's this one. There it is. Yeah. There we go. See, now I don't have to be just the one with the sex appeal. There you go. Perfect. Gotta wait till the beat drops. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. All right. There we go. Perfect. We got that in there. Yeah. Sorry, Dan. I can do. Dan is still my fave fella, and John my fave baby bear. So much Riz. Wow. Thanks, Hosea. We appreciate that. We appreciate you, Lenny. Even though you missed the show, it's okay. You can, if you have time after we, get done, you can watch the whole show. Just kind of speeding through all the topics, but we talked about Fantastic Four, we talked about Superman, we talked about Lanterns, as well as a little bit of Black Panther. So, as well as some quick hits. Speaking of Bears, we did talk about Paddington for a little bit, who's doing very well overseas. So that's very exciting. That was definitely top of the show. Top of the morning to you. Top of the show. So not a lot of people were there. So if you want to rewind, you can do that. But as I was saying before Dan rudely interrupted me, make sure to like and comment and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we're going to be talking about that Fantastic Four trailer. So,
we're gonna react to it tomorrow. Let's see.
Oh, I'm very curious. So, and by the way, for all you guys, so for Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, it's 7, 6, 5, 4 in the morning. So for all you Pacific people, you can stay up. For all you Eastern people, you're gonna be getting up for work or gonna be in bed when that shit. I'm gonna be in bed. I'm not like I'll wake up for Superman. I'm not waking up for Fantastic Four. Fuck that. But yeah, that's gonna be really exciting. So Fantastic Four, that's gonna be a big thing. But yeah, let's not dilly-dally. But thanks for watching, guys. Oh, let me go through. Ray J, Ron, Enterprising, Hosea, The Watcher, Lenny, even though you were only in here for a little bit, we still got to shout you out because we love you so much. The Watcher, Man of Steel Magnolias, TC24, Chris Sostek, Patrick Childs, Nelson Moreno, Manos was in here for a little bit. This loser, DNK Global Studios, terrible.
I know, terrible.
Caleb Underrun was here. Lex Ayers, I missed you, man. I didn't see you. You were in here too. But yeah, that's about it for all you guys. Figuredron. Jesus, how can I forget Figuredron? Sorry about that, my guy. But thank you all. How to wedge. All right. Okay. I will move on. I want to thank the viewers. We love the viewers. We got to give them.
This is just the outro music. I'm not trying to play you off.
I thought you were gonna you were doing the Oscars orchestra thing.
No. It's just.
I didn't realize we had outro music. Okay.
Well, we do. So we do now, I guess.
So thank you all for watching. We love and appreciate every single one of you. Can't wait for Fantastic Four tomorrow. Can't wait for other DCU news. But until then, we will see you all tomorrow.